It's still a process. We're not where we want to be. But, very, very pleased with the guys. They came out and gave the kind of effort that they need to give. And when you play a team of this caliber and you play like you did, it just shows what you're capable of.
Obviously, a few injuries today, most notably Chase Young's. Anything you can tell us about that?
The thing we know it's a knee. There's some concern. We'll have him evaluated tomorrow, potentially an ACL, but we're not sure yet. Once we get the evaluation, we'll know for sure. And then Ricky aggravated that hip that he had a few weeks ago, so he'll be reevaluated in the morning as well.
What did you make of Chase coming back out on crutches, and did you talk to him at all?
I had an opportunity to talk to him a little bit. I've been kind of caught up with the game, and he was down a little bit, but being out there, being around his teammates, I think kind of helps.
What did you see specifically that allowed your team to maybe execute it at the level that you've been looking for? What were some of those specifics?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they really having the week off, getting an opportunity to evaluate and really talk to them about the things that we believe we're capable of, and then seeing them go through and really execute the way that we believe they can. That's the biggest thing, is if we go out and do those things and play a mature style of football, where things that they have to do or what they want to do. That's probably the biggest thing we've got to get across to them.
That last drive was 10-plus minutes. Just what allowed you guys to succeed there, and have you had a drive like that in your coaching career?
I'll tell you, maybe one or two, but that was really solid. I thought the play calling, mixing it up. One thing that Scotty Turner did was he stuck with the run. They're stout. We know that up front, but we stuck with it. We made them honor that, and we were able to continue to keep our balance in terms of how we wanted to attack them, running and throwing the football. So that was good to see.
Tom Brady certainly didn't look like Tom Brady for the first half and most of the game. What did you guys do that was so useful in limiting him?
I think one of the things that really appreciated was the way our underneath coverage was. We know that they do a great job with their short passing game, and one of the things we wanted our guys to do was make sure they were set and ready to break, so that they could interact with the receivers, get into the throwing lanes, be physical if they caught the ball. We try to limit the yards after catch, and I think our guys were able to do that.
The commitment to the run, was that the plan going in, or was that based off what they were giving you?
I think that was really what Scotty was talking about, in terms of wanting to be able to keep the rhythm of the game, keep the flow of the game in our favor. Keeping the clock running helps us defensively as well. And I just thought that the way he mixed it up, the way he called the plays, really gave us that opportunity.
The defensive line, John Allen is really having a good season. What is, not that he wasn't playing well last season, but just the difference year to year? What have you seen?
Well, I think one thing is you see the leadership of that group really just stepping up. And I can't say enough about the way the tackles have played this year as a group too. I mean, you look at what Duran has given us and what Matt has given us and Timmy, those guys have really been stout up front and have really helped us this year. And as we continue to work this group and develop the outside edges, I think we're going to be all right.
Ron, obviously this team's been through a lot on and off the field this season, and to get a win like this, what are you most proud of your football team right now?
I think their resilience. We had a couple bad things happen on offense, and the defense rose up. And then we had a couple bad things happen on defense, and the offense rose up. And to see them be resilient, during a time like this, that was good. That was good for them. It was very good for them. They earned it. They deserved it.
Along those lines, when you see some of that and you don't maybe convert the way you wanted to on the first couple of drives, what is going through your mind, and how did you see, even on the sidelines, the way they responded to some of that was going on?
Well, I like the idea of early on, even though we didn't convert, we got points, and that keeps the momentum going, and I think that's important because we had the momentum and we were able to ride it. They answered, but we were able to do something to help offset that, and that's the resilience part that was really good to see.
And then the 2 4th down calls, the 4th and 3, and then the 4th and 1 late. Just, was there any hesitation to go for those, and why not?
No, the 4th and 3 really, after kicking 2 field goals, I just thought with the way things felt, it was time to do it, and Scotty was very confident in the call. The 4th and 1, we took the timeout, we talked about it real quick as a group, and again, the confidence in which the play came up, that's what we were looking for.
Ron, you guys got this victory without Montez Sweat or without Chase Young. You guys didn't get a sack in this game, but there was a number of moments where you had pressure from some of the guys that came in. Shaka Tony, I think, had a big one. Casey Tuhill. Can you kind of talk about the people that replaced your starters and just the impact they had?
Well, we drafted Shaka for Penn State, and he's a solid young man who's just learning, growing, and getting better every opportunity he gets, and he needs some more. I messed the name, excuse me for it, but Boonme, got an opportunity coming off the edge. James William Smith, doing some of the things that he did, and Casey Tuhill. I don't know if you noticed, we used Casey in a couple of ways. We used him as a dropper, we used him as a rusher, and just a little bit of variety. Again, one thing I was really pleased with was the inspired play of the secondary. Some really good things. I love the way Cam came downhill and played. I love Bobby's awareness and alertness, out there kind of patrolling the middles for us. So it kind of came together. And again, if we can continue to build off of this, I think we put ourselves in a pretty good position.
And then just the Bucs broadcast said that Chase Young gave a speech at halftime to his teammates to continue fighting. Can you sort of explain a little bit of what he said?
He was with the defensive guys when he talked. I didn't get a chance to hear it because I was in the middle of something else.
Ron, I know you just mentioned going for it on 4th and 1, but during the timeout, what's being discussed? You're looking at the options. If you kick a field goal at 7, they have no timeouts.
Correct.
And if you don't get it, you could lose. So how did you kind of weigh all that?
Well, that's true. But also at the end of the day, if they get 7, we're tied, and then we go into overtime. Why not try and win it right there? Also part of the thinking, too, is if not, they got to go 99 to score a touchdown. And at that point, with the way we were playing, I felt pretty inspired by our guys.
And what did you think of during that drive, the decisions that Taylor made, some of the throws that Taylor made? I mean, the slant to McLaurin is a tight window with not a lot of room to throw it.
But that's what we know he's capable of. And in spite of the fact we didn't have all of the weapons we wanted out there, because we'd love to get Logan back eventually. Ricky went down. He really showed what he's capable of, and you feel really good about that. Again, we got to grow on it. We got to sustain the success, and that's probably the biggest thing is, it's a little continuity in what we're doing.
Particularly in the secondary, it seemed like you guys have acknowledged you fell short of those preseason expectations. Did you sense the corner being turned? Did you sense this coming?
Well, I felt good about what we did the last few weeks going into the bye. In spite of the fact we didn't win those football games, I just felt our guys were getting more and more comfortable with it. I really do think Bobby McCain has gotten much more comfortable with what we're doing now. And that was really good to see. Kendall Fuller, I thought, was playing really good. And getting Will Jackson back, he went through this bye week and came into practice and really looked good. I mean, physically he looked good. He looked healthy. He had a lot of confidence in the way he was practicing, so it was good to see.
With Jackson in particular, was there anything that clicked for him? I know usage from UC.
Yeah, and again, it's just learning each other and being around each other. I think that helps one another in terms of having the feel, knowing that my help's over here and we're talking, communicating, that type of stuff.
During the bye over the last few weeks, did anything change as far as communication there and trying to get everybody on the same page?
Well, and I think that's a big part of it is it's going to take time, and I know I said it, we have to mature. We have to learn each other. We have to work together. We got to understand, exactly what we're doing. And I think over time, that's really what's coming to fruition. And we still got a ways to go. We're not where we want to be, but this is a huge step for us in the right direction.
How are you seeing that? Is there specific instances or plays or examples that you see that show you that?
Yeah, when you see the communications, when something happens with motion or a shift, we had a couple of man coverage calls, and Jamin had a banjo call, switch call with each other, and you could see them communicating. So instead of getting put in a bad position, and that's stuff that really, it's basic stuff for groups that have been together. But when you're starting to work together and learn each other, that's stuff that you need to get more comfortable using. I think Cam's very important to what we do, and I like what we're doing in the way we're using our 3 safeties. I think, with Bobby basically playing center field, Cam coming up and playing, in the box on one side, and Landon playing in the box on the other side. I think we found something there with those guys, and going forward, I think it could be really good for us.
when you're on the sideline, what were guys saying? Were any of the players kind of calling you to go for it? Or what?
No, I was talking with the coaches, and like I said, Scotty was very clear cut, you know, as to what he wanted to do, and had it, you know, and he called the play with a lot of confidence.
Did you kneel on that last?
Yeah, they blocked a 2-point conversion. Now they have a chance to tie. Well, they block and return it. Yeah.
Context of, I know that a lot of wins, they all mean the same things, they're all good, but in the sense of the fact that you guys were 2-6 coming into this, there were a lot of different injuries that you guys had to deal with. And this is kind of one of those ones where you talk about bowing your neck and things of that nature. Can you kind of put it, how much does this win mean in the context of everything else leading into this game?
Well, I think, first of all, you know, getting off the schneid is a big deal. Okay, now we have a chance to build on something. It gives us confidence going forward. You know, I think the thing that we also need to take a real good look at is, you know, as now we're going to play some more younger guys. Now we're going to have to really step up and do the things we need to in terms of growth and development, the extra stuff these guys are going to have to learn to do on their own. And that'll be up to us as coaches to make sure we're sharing that with these guys. That, hey, you young guys, you're going to play some more. You got to really study your guy. You know, you got to understand who you're playing against. You got to understand how everything they do affects everything we do. You know, I'm very fortunate to have had Joey in Carolina, and did a pretty good job for us. You know, a few weeks ago, you know, he wasn't available. When he became available, it was somebody that, you know, I know, and I know he's got a strong leg. He's done it for us when I was in Carolina, and just, you know, felt pretty comfortable about, you know, making the switch and bringing him in here.